Many times we believe that if we have made good investments, purchased good properties, we are a good financial planner. But financial planning has another essential element which are often ignored by common people. That is how we want our wealth and our liabilities to be distributed when we are not there. So we talk about another essential part, how to make a will. You may be thinking that making a will probably is a legally complex process, but there are a few fundamental things about making a will, and if you take care of them without being a lawyer or without referring to a lawyer, you can still bring out a will that is legally valid and that will be binding on the people who are there to take your wealth when you are not there. Many people think that having a nomination or some kind of an equivalent to creating a will, a nomination can run into problems, but will is always much better as compared to individually telling to your bankers or to your investment broker that where exactly is your nomination for a particular wealth. A will can be made by anyone who is above the age of 21. You can make it on plain paper. It is not legally necessary to make a will on a stamp paper. The first defense against a will being contested is to write it in your own handwriting. If your handwriting is legible enough, although it is not a hard and fast rule and legal validity is not coming into question because it is handwritten or it is typewritten or it is printed in a word processor, handwritten wills, legibly written, could be the first step towards establishing the authenticity of the entire thing. If you do not do it, what happens? It will be distributed as per the succession law and it could lead to a lot of mess. Now, how do we make this will? The will has just 3 or 4 critical parts. First is the initial declaration that you are making the will in sound mind, in your full senses, and free from any influence or pressure. In the opening paragraph, also you will have to mention where you are, what is your age. The second one is the details of properties to the extent possible. The documents establish your right over such property. How these will be distributed, who will get what. Remember one thing, that it is very important not to make any of the conditional. While executing my father's will as an executor, I found it very difficult because one of the conditions was that somebody has to pay something to the other fellow. Whatever is your wealth is given with full unconditional manner. Now, if you're giving assets to a minor, till the minor becomes the major, who will hold those assets? You must also provide. Next is signing of the will. You will have to sign in full, in all the pages, in the presence of at least 2 independent witnesses. It's very important that these witnesses are independent in the sense that they are not interested or related to this property. If you are a father giving it to your daughter-in-law, your son should not be a witness. Whether it is important to execute a will in a court of law, no, it is not necessary. If you can notarize it or if you can do it before a magistrate in the form of an affidavit, it could have some sanctity because by force you'll have to bring 2 witnesses. Like whenever you are doing an affidavit, 2 witnesses have to sign with their name and address, etc. But it is not mandatory. How many times you can change the will? You can change it as many times. It is that the previous will must be referenced to if necessary, or the previous will has to be destroyed by telling that this is my subsequent will and this is the final will. You must be careful in being specific and you must be careful in following the structure that I have told. It is not necessary or mandatory to follow a lawyer. You will have to nominate someone as the executor of the will, and that executor could be anyone, could also be one of the beneficiaries. Better if you could get either a lawyer or a doctor or both to be witness of the will. so that the doctor says that you are in free mind, and the lawyer, being witness, understood that the legality of the structure is valid. A will must always be dated, and if more than one will is made, the one with the latest date becomes valid and the rest is nullified. The value of the assets, do not worry too much because it fluctuates. If it is a fixed deposit along with interest, you can see the value. But if it is a parcel of land, then you can always say that the south portion, north portion, front portion, back portion will be obtained by such and such person to whom you are giving. If it is a self-earned property, you can give it at your will totally. I hope I have clarified basic process of making the will. You can always search the search engines about it. There is enough resources that are available. You can also consult a lawyer. But knowing that a will is an essential part of financial planning is very important for all of us. Thank you very much.